Back to politics tonight, and I've been speaking with the Kano State Commissioner for Environment and Climate Change, Nasir Garo, tonight we're discussing Kano governance and Governor Yusuf's methods and achievements. Thank you for staying with us, Honorable Commissioner. And let's move on with the conversation, and this time let's talk about education. So tell us, what is the governor doing to revive the sector?
Well, before I continue with education, which I have started earlier on, let me talk a little bit more about my own ministry, which is the Ministry for Environment and...
Mr. Nasir, we will get there. We will get there.
Okay.
Did you get me?
Like I said earlier, in terms of education, you know, the governor...
Yes, we will get to your ministry. But let's start with education.
Yes. The education, which I have started with earlier on, you know, one of the principles of Konkosia is for the son of nobody to become somebody without knowing anybody. And people can only become somebody by getting educated. And we take education very, very seriously. That is why when we took over, one of the first things His Excellency did was to make sure that we are putting the education sector back to where it should be in Kano State. Like I said earlier on, when we took over, NECO has even declared that they are not going to conduct examination for students in Kano State. We had to go and sit down with them. The governor had to sit down with them, agree with them, and then we make some payment in terms of what the Kano State government was owing them at that time, and they quickly returned to the normal activities that has to do with examination in Kano State. We have in Kano institutions which were established for people to be going there to learn trades. Places like, PIM Industry Institution, places like corporate security institutions, and we even have so many other institutions. And most of those institutions were closed down and nothing was going on in those institutions. Quickly, His Excellency, the Governor of Kano State, Engineer Abba Kabir Yusuf, re-established and reopened those schools, equip them, appoint teachers and leaders in that school. And as I'm talking to you, people are beginning to seek admission into those institutions, and academic activities have already commenced in those institutions. Also, the governor has been able to pay for the people, students in Kano State, tuition fee, about a billion naira for people who were unable, who could not be able to pay tuition fees because of the situation in the country, which things are very hard, especially because of withdrawal of fuel subsidy. And the governor is doing all that. One other important thing is the issue of scholarship, foreign scholarship for those people who has first class from their university studies. Those people, and you don't need to know anybody. All you have to do is to go and meet the committee doing screening. They will screen you. As I'm talking to you, more than 1,000 students in Kano have been screened, and they are in the process of going to different countries to pursue education for the benefit of the people of Kano State. As I'm talking to you, a lot of appointees in this government, including even commissioners, are beneficiaries of that scheme which was initiated by our leader, Engineer Dr. Rabiu Musa Konkoso. So a lot has been done in the education sector. Even this morning, before I left Kano this afternoon, I was at Government Technical College Ungogo to do fumigation in the secondary schools. In all the secondary schools in Kano, we are doing fumigation. As I'm talking to you, I did the luncheon this afternoon before I left Kano State.
All right,
so all this is to make sure that there is conducive atmosphere for pupils in Kano State so that they can get a very quality education.
All right. So let's talk about the Ministry of Environment, which you're in charge of. What's the state doing to keep Kano Metropolis cleaner?
Well, like I have mentioned earlier, there's an agency of government that is saddled with the responsibility of making sure that Kano is clean, Remasab. That one is responsible for refuse management in total. And when we took over, that agency was not active. In fact, it was nowhere to be found. They only have like 5 equipments, but today we have so many other equipments. We can say we have 25 or more of equipment, and the governor is still, working very hard to make sure that he supports us in terms of providing more equipment. In terms of climate change, we have been able to do a lot. There's one policy which has to do with open defecation. That one is a problem in Africa, in some of the cities. And Kano State, for example, the governor said he cannot tolerate open defecation anywhere in Kano. And our public toilets, which are supposed to be in Kano to be, taking care of the needs of the people, have all been abandoned. They are dilapidated. The governor mandated the ministry, as I'm talking to you, we are in the process of making sure that all those public conveniences have been put in proper use, and new ones are going to even be built so that we can eradicate completely open defecation in Kano State. That also is another one, is the issue of tree planting. This year we have planted more than 1 million trees, even though we came in at the tail end of rainy season, but we had to make provision to be able to see that we planted those trees, and we have put a mechanism in place to nurture those trees to make sure that they grow for the benefit of the people.
All right. I want you to talk about flooding. Which has become a big environmental challenge in Nigeria. What's the situation with the state?
Yes, you see, flooding has to do with clearance of, drainages. And in Kano, we are also doing that very much to make sure that all our drainages, as I'm talking to you, not only Ministry for Environment is doing the work on drainages, so that we can all come together and make sure that our drainages are clean. There is an agency that has to do with, repair of our streets, which is called Karma. Karma is also, apart from putting the streets in order, they are trying to also work on the drainages that are, by the side of the street, and Ministry for Environment is doing that as well. So we are making sure that all our drainages are clean, and His Excellency has even an advisor for drainage clearance in Kano. Because of that, we don't want to have any issue that has to do with flooding. Right. So we are working very hard to make sure that we don't have an issue of flooding in Kano State.
So what's the state government doing to tackle the impact of climate change?
Well, like I said, we have done a lot in terms of tree planting, and we are already preparing to make sure that in the next rainy season, we have planted more trees. And there is an agency called CANAP. That one is saddled with the responsibility of, trees nursery. And that agency has not been working at all. But this administration has revived that agency. And as I'm talking to you, they are in the process of making sure that all their sites are being cleared, and they bought so many seedlings to nurse them so that we can be able to plant all those trees in terms of, mitigation of climate change. So this administration, because of the concern His Excellency Engineer Abba Kabir Yusuf has for climate change, that is why he has added the name of climate on the Ministry for Education. And we are not just putting the name, we are doing so many programs to make sure that we tackle the issue of climate change head-on in Kano State.
All right, then. So in 30 seconds or 20 seconds, if you can, what is your message to the people of Kano State at this time?
Well, like I always said, especially when we go for our monthly sanitation in Kano, which is another program that has been abandoned for a very long time, is we are happy with the cooperation we are getting from the people of Kano State. And I am very much assured that the people of Kano State are in full support of all the programs His Excellency is doing. And so we want to seek for more of their cooperation, and His Excellency is doing a lot to make sure that we have achieved all those things which we have promised them during the campaigns in Kano State.
All right. Thank you so much, Nasir Sule Garo, Kano State Commissioner for Environment and Climate Change. Thank you so much for coming on Politics Tonight as we discuss Kano governance and Governor Yusuf's methods and achievement. Thank you so much for coming on the program.